This was the most nervous and excited I had ever been while flying. My first time landing in my own plane.
How you liking the new airplane?
Runway 22, Sheboygan traffic.
Well, that was just my second takeoff, but I'm loving it.
Congrats on your purchase.
Hey, thanks.
It's good to see you're flying again.
Clear prep! One left, one forward. Ahead, can't see behind. In February of 2024, I finally realized my dream of owning my own airplane. After what seemed like ages, the skies finally cleared, the winds died down, and I was able to turn the key and fire up the engine to my airplane. It still seems surreal to say the words, my airplane, and those words will never leave my lips without a smile. November 95402 is a 1969 Cherokee 140 with quite a bit of history here at the Capitol Drive Airport. The original owner bought the then new Cherokee and based it in Texas. After a while, he sold it to Sharon Mitchell, and Sharon brought the Cherokee up to Wisconsin, where she was one of the co-owners of the Capitol Drive Airport. She flew the plane regularly until her health dwindled and she passed away. The Capitol Drive Airport, of course, holds a special place in my heart, as it's where I took my first flight lessons and had my first solo. It meant a lot to Sharon's family that I was able to keep the Cherokee based at Capitol, and as I made my first flight, I could tell that it meant a lot to Sharon's friends and other tenants as well. And although this was a solo flight, I was thrilled to have others on frequency share the moment with me. A raw and more uncut version of this flight was made available to patrons back in March, pretty much right after this flight.
Capitol Drive traffic, Cherokee 95402, back taxiing 21, remaining in the pattern, Capitol Drive.
Patrons receive early access to public videos, bonus content, and even the chance to provide input on my editing process. If you like my content, I encourage you to check out my Patreon page after this video.
Okay, flaps are up, mixtures, rich carpeets off. We're all sorts of lit up. Capitol Drive traffic, Cherokee 95402, taking off 21, remaining in the pattern, Capitol Drive. Alright. Takeoff power is set and achieved. We're above 2300. Airspeed's alive and climbing. We're green. And we're green. 60. 65.
Capitol Drive traffic, Cherokee 9614 Whiskey, back taxi on runway 21, remaining in the pattern, Capitol Drive.
And accelerate to 83, 85. And I'm flying my own airplane.
Shortly after takeoff, I realized that I was having a problem with one of my non-essential instruments. My vertical speed indicator, or VSI, was showing a descent even though I was obviously climbing.
Capitol Drive traffic, Cherokee 95402, left downwind 21, Capitol Drive.
I'm familiar enough with this model Cherokee to know that at full power and putting my nose on the horizon, I'd be flying at about 85 miles an hour, which was confirmed by the airspeed indicator. It also appeared that my altimeter was climbing at a rate consistent with what I'm used to seeing.
It says we're descending, but I don't believe that for 1 second.
Traffic 127 Echo Delta, turning left base runway 904 Campbell. Capitol Drive traffic 9614 Whiskey, turning left crosswind runway 21, Capitol Drive.
Capitol Drive traffic, Cherokee 95402, left base 21, full stop, Capitol Drive.
After leveling off and doing another cross-check, I believed the VSI was faulty and thought my airspeed indicator and altimeter appeared to be correct. Nevertheless, I flew my approach using known pitch and power settings, and another cross-check seemed to confirm that it was only my VSI that was faulty, and my other static system instruments were normal.
Capital Drive traffic, Cherokee 95402, final 21, full stop, Capital Drive.
Capital Drive traffic, Cherokee 9614 Whiskey, simulated emergency landing, runway 27. We've got landing traffic in sight.
The final confirmation was when I saw the flash of the stall light, just as I bled off the last bit of energy before lightly touching down on the runway.
Alright, I've landed my own airplane. Capital Drive traffic, Cherokee 95402, clear of all runways, Capital Drive.
Capital Drive traffic, Cherokee 9614 Whiskey, turning a left downwind, runway 27, Capital Drive.
Capital Drive traffic, Cherokee 95402, taking off 21, remaining in the pattern, and we'll be looking for 10 Whiskey, Capital Drive.
14 Whiskey, we're on runway 9, we're holding short for you.
Airspeed's climbing, we are green, and green, 65.
Alright, Capital Drive traffic, Cherokee 3410 Whiskey. We are 3 miles to the north inbound for upwind 21, Capital Drive.
Capital Drive traffic 9614 Whiskey is clear of all runways, taxiing Capital Drive.
Capital Drive traffic, Cherokee 95402, left crosswind 21, Capital Drive.
How you liking the new airplane?
Runway 22, Sheboygan traffic.
Well, that was just my second takeoff, but I'm loving it.
Alright, Capital Drive traffic, Cherokee 3410 Whiskey. We are upwind and I have downwind traffic in sight. Downwind traffic says now 127 Echo Delta, turning into left base, runway runway 9er, Campbell.
Capital Drive traffic, Cherokee 95402, left downwind 21, will be a touch and go, Capital Drive.
Sheboygan traffic, Archer 2490 Yankees, left crosswind 22, Sheboygan.
Capital Drive traffic, Cherokee 95402, final 21, touch and go, Capital Drive.
Capital Drive traffic, Cherokee 3410 Whiskey. We are downwind 21, Capital Drive. Capital Drive traffic, Cherokee 3410 Whiskey, 21 base.
Flaps, makes sure, full power. 65.
Congrats on your purchase.
Hey, thanks.
It's good to see you're flying again.
Capital Drive traffic, Cherokee 95402, left downwind 21, Capital Drive.
Capital Drive traffic, Cherokee 3410 Whiskey, clear of all runways, Capital Drive.
The rest of the patterns were pretty standard, so we'll pick up each approach on short final and just enjoy the landings. As I started getting more comfortable with the plane, I realized that I was starting to get much quieter. Usually, I'm vocalizing my callouts, but I wanted to really enjoy every minute detail and hone in the feel, the sights, and the sounds of my new-to-me Cherokee. After just a few laps, I realized that this plane was actually pretty difficult to slow down to my normal approach speed. This isn't necessarily a bad problem to have. The plane likes to fly. And by the last landing, I was able to really dial in my airspeed and hit my numbers just the way I wanted. Although I was quiet on the outside, I was cheering and jumping for joy on the inside. I had flown my own airplane, and generally speaking, everything went about as well as I could have hoped. Yes, there was the problem with the VSI, but the plane flew beautifully and I couldn't have been any happier with how my first landings went.
Capital Drive traffic, Cherokee 95402, clear of all runways, Capital Drive.
When I look back at the footage, I realized that the VSI seemed to show a steeper descent with higher airspeeds and showed level flight at low airspeeds. It had been working just fine during the test flight, and this was the plane's first flight since then. So I texted the seller's mechanic and asked if he had any thoughts on the issue. Even though I told him it was no longer his plane to worry about since the test flight had been fine, he came to the airport on his own time and helped me diagnose the problem and ultimately get it fixed. Every owner will have quirks with their new-to-them plane, and I'm no different. Over the next few months, I found a few more things that needed attention, but it wasn't long before I had a solid VFR platform to start flying around the Badger State, and that's exactly what I did. In my next few videos, I'll reach new milestones, achieve new firsts, and meet some awesome aviators from southeastern Wisconsin along the way. Those videos are coming soon, but until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on The Badger Pilot.